Okay, I'm getting the loading screens and I see us now in the group. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Pro Power Hour. My name is Chris Weldon, one of the community managers here at Housecall Pro. And this is Power Hour. This is something we do every Thursday. Every Thursday afternoon, we come on live on Facebook and also on Zoom and really just bring you a product training webinar. Every week, we take a different product or feature, or sometimes maybe a small number of features. And we talk about one, why you should use these products and features, and two, how to use these products and features, and answer all of your questions. You can really think of this as a way for you to be maximizing your Housecall Pro account. Um, we've covered a lot of ground. We started this series back in May, and we've talked about almost every single thing in Housecall Pro. In fact, we're starting to repeat some topics again, which has been good because we've had a lot of new updates. We're always one of the things we say here is relentless innovation. So we're always working on things at Housecall Pro, and we're always taking your feedback in. So if you're joining us on Zoom, I encourage you. We have a Facebook community. It's a great place to leave your feedback. I literally round it up every week. I call it a roundup, and present that to our product managers, and that's how we get some of these updates that we'll be talking about today. If you're joining on Facebook, I'll drop the Zoom link if you want to get registered and get emails. And then I've got a couple other things to talk about towards the end, but otherwise I'll turn it over to Phil. He's with us every week almost. Let him introduce himself and we'll get going.
Yeah, hello everybody again. I'm Phil Spingola, one of the onboarding specialists. If you've had a support call or have gone through the Max or Max Plus training, you've probably dealt with me or at least my team. Really excited for today. We have talked about online booking in the past, but as Chris mentioned, that we are constantly making improvements to our system. So we have made some new improvements that we'd like to show you all. Some of that you'll see, which includes like being able to get that payment up front, being able to collect a deposit through through online booking. Now, what I'm going to show you is we are going to do it as usual. How we do it is give you a slide deck and just kind of hit you all with the information, just so that everyone is on the same page when we go into the demo. I am going to mention that with my account, I do have the newest version of the online booking. For the questions that were prepared for us today, somebody asked about, do they need to make the change to new online booking? I'm just going to go ahead and answer that question right now. You really don't. It's up to you if you want to. I was just working with one of my accounts from a while back that asked me essentially the same question, but they absolutely love the way that the old one looks. So if you are grandfathered into the old online booking and you like it the way it is, you can certainly keep it. But unfortunately, if you are one of the new people that signed up, you are getting the new version of the online booking, which is what I will be demoing today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some information. So here we go. So, what are the benefits of online booking? I feel anybody that they've raised since I'm going to say 85. If you are born in the 1985 era and you have experienced the big wave in technology since then, we know that people nowadays don't really like to get on the phone. They really like to just kind of be themselves and be able to book services, book appointments, call Amazon when they need another roll of toilet paper or whatever the case may be. Like, you just don't want to talk to people these days. So, a way to get customers to your front door without them having to call you or see your flyer somewhere is that they can always find you online. And when they find you online, we have the ability so that they can go ahead and book those services, and that way you get more jobs. Basically, everybody's moving in that model we had several years ago where a lot of restaurants went to online ordering. We're doing essentially the same thing so that way we can continue to get more leads and generate more business without customers actually having to know our telephone number or know where we are located. So with that, that's why we brought online booking so that you all can essentially get more work. Now, for the online booking version of 2.0, we did go ahead and we made updates to the old version. So if you are familiar with the old version, It did look a little dated. We like to use the word legacy around here, but then as we kind of made improvements, it looks a little bit different. It looks a little cleaner, and from what we've gathered, it's a little bit better of a customer experience when they are actually going through your online booking. So great. Again, just kind of mentioning some highlights in here. It's a convenient way to automatically rely on customers being able to book those services. You're going to see is that we have different throttles so that you can have the customer pick a time and date. Some pros that I've worked with in the past love that. That way, their office staff is worrying more about billing and other things instead of actually scheduling people. And then there's also a version of where you can basically have the customer give you their inquiry, and then we have the control of being able to figure out a time and date that works best for us. And that way we can arrange it with them so that everybody is copacetic and working together here. Um, so we are going to see all of those. You've probably seen it in the settings. There is the new online booking tab, which we are going to go through everything that is available in that section together in just a moment. So also with our new online booking, we do have Reserve with Google associated with it. So what it will be able to do is that as you set up your online booking page that we are going to do together when we look at my account, but basically you can take all that information, and if you do have a Google business account, that you can transfer basically, transfer is not a good word, but you can replicate what you have in your online booking page in Housecall Pro onto your Google Reserve now, so that way customers don't need to have your specific link, do not need to visit your particular website. They can just go ahead and find you on Google, which is how a majority of consumers find things these days. And just like the restaurants being able to place those orders directly through Google, you can have customers be able to book appointments directly through Google as well. For scheduling bookings, we're going to look at this together as we break down all the different moving pieces that are involved with online booking. You're going to see that one of them, and one of the new improvements that we do have is that for specific services, we can set for that service to be manually scheduled, which is, excuse me, is to set the jobs and the estimates booked online to be placed on the schedule of the employee marked as the point of contact, which has over the time it has kind of fluctuated its value to the name in the system for that, and now it's kind of making a comeback as that's really the spot or the point of contact that is going to be able to receive all the inquiries and be able to do all the scheduling. The bookings will have to be dispatched manually to the right technician. So we're going to see, and what I kind of mentioned earlier is as the inquiry comes in, it goes to the unscheduled jobs, and we'll be able to pick a time and date that works best for us, find the right technician that is available at that time as well. The other option is auto scheduling, which essentially we're going to see together is if everybody is able to do that particular service, essentially it's going to be round robin. So that way, if a customer picks a time and date and 3 of my 4 technicians are available, it's going to go to the one that is available at that time. If there are 2 technicians that are available, it's randomly going to pick one of the 2. And so that's really what auto scheduling is going to do for you. Now, another new feature for us is there is the ability to pay at the time of booking. Before, we used to just simply have that we can put in an inquiry, or a customer can go ahead, pick a time and date, and basically get essentially a quote of what that's going to look like, but they were not required to make any type of payment. Now we've gone ahead and put this in here so that we can help you all generate some more money, get some startup money for some of these bigger ticket projects. So that way we can require a full payment at when they go ahead and make that appointment, or we can require a deposit. So typically a lot of people I've worked with in the past will go ahead and set up that deposit. So we can go ahead and collect 15, 20% down so that we can better prepare ourselves for the job to go out there and complete it, collect the rest of the money that is owed. After booking, so there is the booking redirect that is also new. And what that does is it allows you to put in a link so that when a customer goes ahead and basically finishes all of the steps of the online booking process, there is a redirect link that can take you directly back to your website if you want them to, or maybe to your review page, or any other marketing pages that you may have. So you can continue to add those. As I was playing with my account earlier today, prepping for today, I wasn't able to get a good website to work for mine, but I will point out where it is just so that you all can see where you put in your website, because I'm sure you all own your domain names and all of that. That is needed in order for it to be able to work through that booking redirect. Now, the other thing with the notifications, I feel like this is a little bit of reiteration because I've seen this before in the past, but it also may have been improved a little bit more. But that is anytime a customer goes ahead and books online, they receive a confirmation email letting them know that the job has been booked, as well as a text message if they have their texting abilities turned on. For us on the office side, we do get a email notification that a job has been booked online. And if you have your notifications enabled on your cell phone, you do get a notification that something has been booked online. Adding tracking attributes. So what this will do is essentially allow you to put any links to your social media profiles or website, or I'm sorry, be able to take these custom booking links and stick them in social media profiles, emails and websites, anything that you own that is yours, so that that way, as customers are clicking those links, we can essentially see where they are booking their online services from. If any of you have used like some independent artists through like Etsy and stuff like that, I'm sure you may have seen on social media that on their social media accounts, they say like, here, use my Instagram link to get 10% off. This is essentially not kind of what we're doing, trying to get that tracking so that you can post these links in specific websites and we can collect the data of where these customers are getting or booking their appointments. So that's what the added tracking attributes will do for you. Couple of frequently asked questions. We do have a list prepared as always, but just a couple ones that typically come up when I'm helping customers, and ones that have come across the social media pages for us is, can you rearrange the service order of the booking form? Yes, you can. You can go ahead and change the which services you want to be at the top. If you want to have the pricing forms included, you can have that as well, and you can move those around. We're going to see that together. Can I hide prices? Yes, you can. You can toggle to have prices be shown or not. Now, a question I've gotten before some pros in the past is why would I want to do that? Well, maybe that particular service is varied. Maybe it's based on its square footage. Maybe it's based on specific material needs, things like that. So maybe we don't want to show what the price is and just have the customer be able to know, hey, I need this service and I need somebody to get out here as soon as possible. We'll talk about costs when we meet face to face or over the phone. Another common one is, how can I get more online bookings? So you're going to see, and I'll show you all, is basically there's a whole section of sharing. So for that, you can position the online booking button directly onto your website. I'll show you where the coding is that you'll need to be able to take that, stick it into your website. There is also, as I mentioned, putting the links in your social media profiles and the email signatures, which we talked a little bit about when it comes to adding the tracking attributes. Organizing and labeling your services in a way that is crystal clear for customers to be able to understand. So, again, seeing what I always call the quote unquote online booking menu. My last gig was working in the restaurant industry, so I always refer to it as the online booking menu. And that's essentially what it is. But the other thing is enabling with Reserve of Google, because of that feature that gets you on the Google platform and the Google search engine. So that way, if customers in your area are looking you up, they can just go ahead and book directly through there instead of, again, having to go to your website or use one of your other booking links. And how does our online booking tool support returning customers? We made improvements to this because I remember about a year or two ago, as people were putting in online inquiries, it kept making duplicates. And so we did kind of have an issue with this. Telling you all, we've gone ahead and fixed it so that if a returning customer is doing an online booking and they put their information in the system, if we can recognize that address as well as their name, it's just going to essentially merge that customer with the current one so that we have everything nice and clean all in one place and we don't have all these duplicates everywhere. So without any further ado, enough of me talking. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at this. So I'm going to pull up my account over here. And the first thing we're going to do is when we go to our account settings, we're going to go to online booking. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are a couple of different moving pieces to make online booking work, and I promise you we're going to talk about it all. So the first thing is the available services. We already kind of touched on this as we were going through the slide deck, but as I mentioned, this is where we can go ahead and we can say, hey, I want my AC tune-up to be the first thing that people see when they are looking at the air conditioning side of it. We also do have the ability to go ahead and move air conditioning if that's my primary source of business or primary source of revenue. I can make that the first thing people see when they are looking at the online booking menu. Now, question you all probably have is, where are all these services coming from? That answer is it's coming from your price book. And just to take a step into the price book, as we look at every service within the price book, at the very bottom, you're going to see that booking window right here. We did see this when we were looking at the slide deck. And I have talked about this before, but I will go over it again. So with booking here, it simply is asking, do you want this to be part of your online booking menu or not? So if we have this turned off, it's not going to be an option. If we have it turned on, customers can go ahead and pick it. Down below, we can go ahead and set up a service duration. So if we have an idea of how long this service typically takes, we can go ahead and say, yeah, this one generally takes about 2 hours to complete. So the customer isn't going to see that, but they're going to know what's going to happen is when they select this service and it gets booked to our schedule, it's going to automatically block off those 2 hours because we're telling the system that this service takes 2 hours. There is also the ability over here, which I did kind of mention earlier, is that we can assign specific services to specific employees. So if we want, our lead technician to only be responsible for dealing these bigger ticket items, I can say that, I only want Obi-Wan here being the one to be able to go out and do the service. So whenever anybody books this online, it's really in contingent with whatever Obi-Wan has available. You can assign more than one person to a service. So if I wanted to include Luke Skywalker over here, as I mentioned earlier, if both of them have availability and my other two don't, oh, we got balloons. But if we have two, it'll go to them round robin. You also do have the ability, as I mentioned, if we have nobody in there, it's going to go to the next available person. Now, another thing I will mention, because you may have saw it in here, you can set up your teams, and I believe we did talk about this before. When you are setting up your employees, you can use employee tags to set up specific teams. So I have a specific San Diego team, which includes 2 of my technicians. So if I go ahead and say I want the San Diego team to be able to do this one, those 2 are the only ones that are going to get booked to this particular service. Now, underneath here, we can go ahead and say, is this service going to be booked when a customer books it online? Is that going to automatically create a work order, or is that going to create an estimate for us? So you have the choice. Most people I know usually have these services listed as jobs, but you can always have it be an estimate for your bigger ticket items so that way you can get approval from your customer before we actually start any work. Another thing is that we have these troubleshooting questions. And I talk about this as it's really, if you were standing there with your customer, what are the 2 most important questions you would ask them if they wanted to get this service? So I have is the furnace making noise? Is the kitchen under 1,000 square feet? So as they are booking this online, they have to answer these questions. And then what that'll do is obviously help me be more prepared for the job at hand. So Wanted to talk about that because that is where the available services are coming from, and that's what's on this particular page. Underneath this is available pricing forms so that we can go ahead and decide which pricing forms we want to be available within our online booking menu. Again, where those are coming from is they are coming from your price book. So up here in my price book, I have my pricing forms. I've got about 4 of them right here. And if I want to have one that's included for online booking, we just go ahead and say, yeah, I want that one available as well. Same idea. Booking settings. So this is really starting to get into what I was talking about earlier. So the first thing up here is for existing customers. Stop duplicating customers with the same contact details. Now, I don't know why you would want to turn this off, but if you want to have a bunch of duplicates in your system, go right ahead. But most people I've talked to generally turn this on so that that way, as I mentioned, if it's a customer that's a repeat customer, we're not getting, 1,000 John Does or Jane Smiths. We're getting just one, and they're all going to the same profile. Down below here is where we can set up what I was talking about with that throttle of how we want to do our online booking. So the first option here is flexible schedule. And what that allows us to do is it allows me to say, all right, on Monday, we're open from 8 to 4:30. And what that's going to do for the online booking is that between 8 and 4:30, there's going to be 30-minute time windows. So that way the customer can pick any one of those 30-minute time windows and essentially book their appointment. Now, that usually tends to scare a lot of people. I want to show you down below is that you do have the ability to set up an arrival window. So if you do want to say that if anybody books online, we want 2 hours to be able to get to that location. That way, when the customer books that 8:30 appointment, they're going to get a notification that says we're going to arrive between 8:30 and 10:30. You also do have the ability to set up the soonest availability. So if you want customers to be able to book you same day, go right ahead. Most of the people I've trained generally have about a day buffer so that way they can more prepare themselves for the jobs that are going to be that have been requested for the following day. But and again, entirely up to you how you want to set yours up. So that's flexible scheduling. Again, those 30-minute time windows throughout your entire workday. Then there is also setup specific start time. This tends to be what I see most people use because what it does is it allows us to say, all right, I want a time window at 8 o'clock. I want a time window at 10 o'clock. I want a time window at noon. And then that way, when the customer is on the booking portal, they'll only be able to pick those specific times. So that way, if we don't want people booking online services after lunch, we can go ahead and just have them be able to book times in the morning. You can also, as I've told people to, start easy with this, is maybe just start on, you can always say, I don't want online booking on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's just do Tuesdays and Thursdays and see what happens. Great way to kind of get started into it. Then the last option is manual, which I have already discussed a couple of times already. But again, this is the side you're going to want to use if you want the customer to not pick a time and date and have that inquiry go to your unscheduled jobs so that you can pick a time and date that works best for you. And just real quickly, want to show down here is there is the scheduling type that we also talked about. So if even though we have specific start times, what that's going to do is it's going to still put that job in the unscheduled, or it goes to the unscheduled jobs, but it gives us the time and date so that our dispatcher can go ahead and assign it to whoever's available at that time. And then there's also the auto scheduling, which I mentioned is the round robin. Now, another thing for setup is that there is the available employees. And really for this, it's just a quick view of being able to switch on who's going to be available for online booking and who's not. So as we can see, I have all my field techs being available. Admin, I mean, I feel like a lot of admins don't go, but if you are a smaller business or a one-man operation, you're probably doing this as well. But as we can see here, I quickly turned off like my Southern California regional manager and my red team. I don't want them being booked for online services. Now, what's fairly new, as I mentioned in our slide deck, is the payment options. So when customers are going to head to say, if you want customers to make that deposit or being able to make a full payment for those services that they book online, this is where you go ahead to toggle that switch. This is also where you can say, do you want to see the pricing or not? So really just kind of simple functionality here. Just the reason that we're not seeing me have the option to set up the deposit or the full payment is just because I haven't hooked my bank account. I believe I mentioned this at the top of the meeting, but just to show you all what that would look like is here's the picture of it right here again. If you missed it on the slide deck, it just has, are you going to require full payments, require deposits, or no payment required? So the next piece is the service area. Now there's kind of two different places for this. So this is telling us what services that we are adding or that can be booked to us. To set this up at the very top of your account settings, there is a spot for service area. And when I do my intro calls with everybody and I ask them, are you going to utilize the online booking feature? If they say yes, I tell them to go ahead and put into this section all the zip codes that you cater to. Because, for example, I'm here in San Diego. I'm still new here, so I don't know all the zip codes here. But the example I always use is I'm down here in Southern California. I obviously don't want somebody up in San Francisco booking me for a job because I'm never going to get up there. So it's pretty important that you come in here and put in zip codes that you cater to so that that way you don't get booked by somebody outside of your zone. All right, and so then the next thing is the preview. Now this is just going to quickly give you a glance of what it's going to look like. We're going to go through all of this together just because I've noticed that there's been some kind of bug that keeps, if we go through like this whole preview section, we don't see it hop up on our calendar. Don't worry, I'm going to show you all how that's going to look. But just wanted to simply show is that when you go to this preview section, it gives you essentially the layout of what the online booking form is going to look like. And also, when you add the booking button to your website, you get that book online button, and it looks similar to this. So on the next thing is the booking page. So if you do want that book now button on your website, here is the coding right here. So if you have a website developer, IT person who works on your website, they can always copy this code right here and stick it and embed it right into your website. That will create the book now buttons and direct customers to that online booking page. If you do not have that capability, here is the online booking link so that you can stick this link. I tell everybody you can stick it in your emails, you can stick it on your social media, you can stick it in your text messages. Basically, customers can click on that link and it takes them to the exact same booking page. Next is the tracking attributes. So if you did want to include all of those different sources for when customers pick online or trying to get to your online booking page online, you can always continue to add those attributes and we'll be able to pull the data of where more of these online jobs are getting booked from. And then also, as I mentioned, there is the booking redirect link. So at the end of when a customer is through putting in their inquiry, it will redirect the customer to either your website or another page that you want them to go to. Then the last option here, at least in setup, is the Google option. So really, it's pretty straightforward here for the Google Business Profile. I don't have one, but if you do, you can click the connect button. All you really do is log into your Google business account, and essentially the integration happens right there. There's like a whole prompt of, do you want everything that is set up within your Housecall Pro to be available in Google? You kind of go through that process with Google to set it up the way that you want it to be seen on Google. Show book online, pretty straightforward. There is more information if people need it, but if you do want to show that online booking within the Google search, we turn the switch on. If you don't want them to be able to book, but just have the capability to get to your website, we can simply just turn it off. And then we have Google Location Service Ads. So if you are familiar with Google Location Service Ads, it's the same idea is that you just simply connect to your Google business account. And then that way, when customers are going through Google and using the location services, you'll be able to come up to the top and be front and center so that customers can go ahead and do all that online booking that way. So let me kind of walk through what it looks like for the customer. So when we are looking at the online booking page, I'm going to go ahead and copy the link here. All right, so as I showed you all, I put my pricing forms kind of here at the top. And then underneath here, I have all of my other services that customers can book. I did notice one of the questions that we had prepped today that somebody was asking about. They're in the home cleaning industry. How do I set up online booking for rooms and things like that? You're going to want to look at pricing forms because here's my home cleaning service option. And when I click on that, the customer can tell me, all right, I want you to clean 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, maybe not the garage. We'll do a regular clean. And I've kind of messed with this a couple of times, so I don't really have any prices in here, but I can assign each one of these a price. So if the customer wants oven cleaning and freezer cleaning, it's going to just start to build up that subtotal for them. If I take a step back and I just want to do a particular service, like my AC conditioner here and my AC replacement, I did have my prices turned on so that way they can see it. They can go ahead, get more information about that particular service, and simply add it to booking when they're ready. Down below here, they can add an additional description. So anything they want to tell us to help us be more prepared for this particular project, or they can also upload any photos. A lot of pros that I've showed this absolutely love this because then we can ask them, hey, can you take a picture so that, again, we can be more prepared for what this job or estimate's going to be. Customer can always upload any photos. When they go to book the service, they'll put in all their information. And they'll hit next. And so for here, again, I showed you all that I had mine set up for picking specific times with a 2-hour time window. So that 8 to 10 is available for tomorrow. Customer can go ahead and select that. And as I mentioned kind of before, or if you haven't set up payments, basically here's the quote that the customer can be able to see how much it's going to cost if you have prices enabled, and they'll just simply hit book my appointment. And if we did have payments, I'll just quickly show you is that on the next screen, when they get to number 5, that is where they would put in their credit card payment information. Now that the job has been booked, as I mentioned, the customer does get an email confirmation. My phone is ringing off the hook right now because I've got several text messages and notifications letting me know that a job has been booked online to me, and it's going to be tomorrow. Now, for us in the office, just to quickly confirm, we got the email, so I can look at my schedule, and let's take a look at tomorrow. A week. All right, it looked like it didn't book. Is that bug still going on? Just want to check one more time. Yeah, that should have done it. Okay. Don't necessarily have a reason of why that may be. Please be on the lookout. Maybe that might be a certain kind of bug that is going on. I just want to double check. I don't really see it anywhere else because it would have shown up on us for Friday. So I will get back to you, let you all know if that there is something that is keeping us from being able to see that. Typically, I've done this 1,000 times and it shows up, so there must be something going on at this current time. So I apologize for that. But really, I think that's all of the moving parts of online booking. So I would like to open the floor to any questions before we dive into some of the questions that have already been prepared. I don't really see many in the chat. Chris, any in the Facebook? You're muted.
My bad. Yeah, nothing on Facebook right now, but if anybody's watching, y'all, it's your chance. Drop some questions. Of course, if you catch the recording, we'll link back with you. But real quick, while we've got Phil here live, I know Michael is speaking with Lauren over here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing this. So Michael, I have the service plans in my price book currently for online booking. It was just trying to cut a step by not having to build it and send it to them. Um, I mean, that's a good way, in my opinion. I've talked to some people about this, is it's good for essentially get them initially interested. But when you are really trying to have people be on service plans and the service plan functionality within our system, I would say that that's a good thing to essentially get them interested. But if they are choosing to sign up for a service plan, that you do go back to your service plan section and actually send it to them so that way they can fall onto the service plan payment plan as well as the service plan schedule. So it's a smart idea you're doing, but it does take a couple of extra manual steps to make it optimal for you. All right, Derek, a existing customer doesn't have to fill in all their info when booking. As far as I know, because I just had to do it as well, they do have to manually do it every time. That's why we made the switch so that it doesn't duplicate. All right. Well, since we're at a pause on some of these questions coming in, I'll go to the ones that we have prepared. So the first one I have here is from Artem. I'm in the cleaning industry. How do you set up online booking for customers to choose bedroom, bathrooms, and square feet? So I hope you did see, I specifically did a demo specifically for you. You'll want to use those pricing forms. And we did do a session on pricing forms before, so I would recommend taking a look at that if you need more information on it. Of course, there is also the help center that is available as well. That'll show you how to build them. But the answer to your question is you want to do pricing forms. That way you can have the customer select how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, and things like that. All right, next question is from Travis. How do you set a minimum? I'm tired of people booking one room carpet cleaning for 75 bucks online. All right, Travis. Unfortunately, there isn't a way to set a minimum when it comes to online booking. What I would do in that is just simply not offer one room carpet cleaning. I know that could be kind of discouraging when customers are booking online, but if you want to kind of have a minimum, then you really have to kind of tweak your prices in your price book to make it work a little bit better for you. But there is no way to set a minimum for online booking. All right, Novatech Concrete Coatings. Is there functionality in online booking for someone to just book an estimate? Have something listed as a free estimate a customer can book without paying, but service as free estimate. So really the answer to your question is yes, I showed you within the price book. I would go ahead and create a free estimate option in your price book, and you can go ahead for the online booking section to say, yep, I want it to be booked as an estimate. And as you said, if it's a free estimate, there should be no price involved. That way the customer can go ahead and book essentially a time and date for that estimate for you and your team to go out there. Next question from Dustin Dryer Vents. Do you need to switch to online booking? Honestly, the old version works better for us. I answered your question kind of at the beginning here is that if you like the old version, certainly feel free to keep it. Really, once you make the switch though, I don't believe that you can go back to the old version. So if you are happy with the old version, just keep it as is. And that's really all I have on that. Next question from Angel. Anyone who uses the booking link feature know if you can tailor a specific price book that is only customer facing? Um, your price book is massive, but mostly for the internal team and only want customers to see 5 options. So the answer to your question, Angel, is yes. I did show that in available services where you're able to move the services around that are going to be part of your online booking menu. What I would recommend is that you go into your price book, find those 5 services that you want to be customer facing, and have the booking switch turned on, have all of the other services have that switch turned off. And that is basically what you're going to want to have to do to do what you want to do. All right, Kenneth, if I'm not using Housecall Pro website, am I still able to integrate Housecall Pro website booking through my website? Um, as I also showed earlier, is that you can go to your account settings, go to that, I want to make sure I say it right because it used to be just share booking page. So you go to the booking page option, and that is where you can grab that embedding code to stick into your website. So you do not need a Housecall Pro website. If you do have a Housecall Pro website, I would recommend either booking a support call so we can show you how to add it to your website, or you can certainly reach out to the people that helped build your website at Housecall Pro and talk about online booking. I'm sure they'd be able to help you as well. All right, and then the last one I have here, I would like to adjust the order of services to appear on my online booking. Is it possible? Yes, I also showed that. That is in the available services in your account settings where you can go ahead and move those particular items around so that they'll be displayed in the way you want on the online booking menu. Looks like another one from Derek came in. Existing customer doesn't have to fill in all their info when booking. Oh, I think that was from before. Okay, yeah, we answered that. So yeah, that's all of the questions I have. Any other questions?
I've seen a couple new ones from Derek here. What is the disadvantage of moving to the new version?
It's kind of hard to say what would be a disadvantage. It just looks different. That's really all I can say.
Yeah, and if you're on a new account, like depending on when you signed up, you may not even have, Phil, am I correct? They may not even have the option for the old one.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of grandfathered in. If you've been with us for like 3 years, you probably have the old online booking. But yeah, everybody now gets the new one. And again, there's really no disadvantage. Everything's the same. I wouldn't say it's the same. It just looks different,
Yeah.
but functionality is the same. And yeah, Derek, HCP, I want to be careful in saying making websites. We do have a website builder. That is a team that can work with you to build a website. I have worked with a couple of pros that when they started onboarding, they want to have one of our help or work with our website building team. I know that they basically set up kind of like the format, but there is a lot that you get the ability to customize. And I believe it's like colors, pictures, and things like that. So it is kind of a collaborative process. So it's not necessarily you pay us and we just build you a website. That's not how it works.
Yeah. Derek, I just dropped you a couple of resources. One, that's the main page, talks about all of our offerings with websites. And I believe there should be a link in here. Maybe there's not. If you're interested in getting a website, let me know.
Might actually be a good future power hour.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's an example site there for you too, Pounds HVAC, which I don't Correct. I don't believe is a real company. It's just a website.
Yeah.
Don't call them for your needs. All right, all right. Just gonna check the Facebook feed one more time here. Yeah, no, looks like we are all good. So, Phil, thank you for taking us through everything. Appreciate it as always.
Mhm.
Um, Pros, if you're watching the recording of this, especially on Facebook, drop your questions in the comments. We'll be sure to get back to you. And if you're finding this in the Help Center or on YouTube, I highly encourage you join the community. It's a great place to ask questions. I want to quickly talk about next week. We're going to talk about homepage, kind of another thing. We've moved to this new online booking, this version 2, and we have homepage and dashboard. A lot of people have the dashboard and the homepage right now. Everything's moving towards this new homepage. So we'll talk about that next week. A little bit of a shorter topic. And then I also wanted to just put it out there that starting in March, so the first week of March, which is what's that date? It's gonna be March 6th, Thursday, March 6th. We're gonna be moving this up 1 hour. So this will be at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern instead of 3 and 6. So a couple weeks before then, we'll send out some reminders, but I just want to put that on everybody's radar. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to be launching a new, another webinar, kind of a webinar. If you're a super pro, you're aware of what office hours is, something we do in our super pro group every Friday. It's an hour where you can come on and usually speak with somebody on the community staff, and then sometimes some of our product and marketing team come on. It's really just a place for you guys to be able to ask questions, talk shop, network with other pros. So we're going to be bringing that to all pros. We're going to be doing that in our main Facebook group. It's going to be open to everybody. And if you're not in the Facebook group, we'll also have an option for you to join us. It'll all be via Zoom. So it's a great way to build community, ask questions. So myself will be there. Lauren, Jean will probably be there. And then of course, Shayna and Chris Nordenson will join from time to time, and other product staff. So encourage you to sign up for that. I'll post some details in the next couple of weeks, and it'll be probably on our help center as well, in the blue chat bubble. So you'll get more information if you're not in the Facebook group. And with that, we'll catch everyone next week. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.